Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the crochet emoji pillows. The title of this video is the one that we'll be concentrating on after we do the main body of your emoji pillow. So each one of the bodies that you see are exactly the same, and then the rest of the part of the tutorial will either be the sunglass one here that says cool, you could have the love button one here, or you could have the one that's tears of joy. So let's go into this pattern in more detail. We're going to create the faces of them. They're all the same. I'm going to teach you a way to be able to do these faces that they're pretty easy without a lot of counting involved as well. So let's take a look closer into this pattern first, and then we're going to get involved then more in detail. So page 1 and part of number 2 up here is the actual pillow itself. It's the yellow form that you see. So you're going to need a 14-inch pillow form. Now I had trouble because I'm in a smaller community. I had trouble actually getting the round pillows. So what I decided to do is that I went over to Michael's. They didn't have it, and nor did they have a 14-inch even pillow frame. So I got a 16-inch, and then I kind of wrapped it to bring it back into shape. I know this is so bad, but you know what, a crocheter needs to do what a crocheter needs to do. So I have wrapped it to get myself to the right inches, and therefore it's nice and firm. Now while I was at a major store, they had all these emoji pillows, but when you push on them there's nothing to them. They don't bounce back. So the advantage to making your own is that you can at least control the fluffiness of your pillow when you're going to make it. So number 2, the page number 2 is going to take you all the way there, but I'm going to teach you an easy way to be able to count that out so that you don't have to really blow a lot of brain cells. The rest of this pattern has all of the different information. It starts off with the heart eyes pillow that you see, and then it has the heart, and then the mouth, and etc. And then at each one of these individual motifs have a border around it. Then you go to the laughing, crying pillow, so tears of joy, and then you end up then with the cool sunglass emoji there on the end of the page number 3. But don't get too wrapped up into so many words. We're gonna break it down today, try to make it as easy as possible. So let's go first into doing the main body of the yellow, and I'm gonna teach you an easy way to be able to remember. So let's get started on the pillow face. So first of all, you're going to notice it's not gonna sit flat. This is the good side of the project. You notice it's gonna bowl out on you. So if you're thinking it's gonna sit flat, don't worry about it. It's not going to. It's meant to keep that shape. Now as we grow this thing out, you're going to notice that there's consistency in the way that it grows, and I'm gonna show you my little homemade diagram. You're going to be able to count by the time you get to the edge here 13 rounds. So if you just count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So both of the pillow faces, so you have to do the front and the back, will end up with 13 rounds that have the growth going out. The final round, number 14, is just gonna be 1 double crochet then to go all the way around to finalize it, and you'll do the same with both of the sides. So you're going to notice that the way that this grows is very unusual. If you're new to crochet, you're not even gonna know about it, but if you're an experienced crocheter, the way that they have you starting each one of the rows or each one of the rounds is kind of unusual. It's not impossible, and in actual fact it's probably easier too. So here's my homemade little diagram. We're gonna start off with chaining of 4, and we're gonna put 17 double crochets into this beginning chain. This gives you, with this chaining of 3 here and the 17, that gives you a total of 18. So you can see that it's kind of a weird number, and because it's a weird number, it creates that bowling shape that we want, that creates that rounded face look. You're then going to go up into round number 2, and you're going to chain up 3 and then double crochet into the same one, and then the next one will be 1 double crochet by itself, and then the next one will have 2. So it'll be 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and so on all the way around. Here's where it changes the path slightly. So as you get into round number 3 and beyond all the way to 13, you're going to notice that the way that you start, usually in crochet, most of us know, is that you usually chain 3 and then there's another double crochet in the beginning one. This one, the designer has not got you to do that. The designer has getting you to delay the growth just for a spurt. So in actual fact you're in between 2 growth spurts of this. So you're gonna chain up 3, and then the next one will be 2, and then there will be 2 by themselves, and then 2 into the same, 2 by themselves, and 2 into the same. When you come back around, you're going to notice that there is a double crochet just before you finish, so these equal your 2 that's in between the growth spurts. Then as you continue then into your next growth, you chain up 3, and then there's gonna be 1 by itself, and then 2, and then this time there will be 3 and 2, 3 and 2, and when you get back around, so you got 1 that's by itself, you got the chain of 3 and there, so you can see it's 3 and then 2. So how do you look at this and be able to remember all that on the way that you're starting because you're in the middle of the growth? Look towards the 2 double crochets that sit in the same one. The second one will always have the growth of putting in 2. So let's go back down here. So you have chaining a 3 and then there's 1 into the same one. So then second one of that one gets the growth. See? The second one gets the growth. No matter where you are, the second one gets the growth. Do you see that? And if you can keep an eye on that in your pattern, you don't even need to count because you'll be able to work it out and you'll be able to crochet a lot faster. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm gonna get you started on this concept and then I'm gonna have you go all the way to 13 for me and then we'll meet you back up, finish off number 14 and then insert our pillow frame today. So using a 4mm size G and your Caron Simply Soft, I'm using a 4.5mm size G as well, or US 7, and what this is it's Caron 1 pound just for that. I just didn't have the right color so I just substituted. So I'm going to just create my slip knot to begin and I'm gonna chain a total of 4. So let's begin. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm gonna go into the very first chain and I'm gonna put in 17 double crochets there. So you just wrap the hook and then going into the 4th one and then just double crochet. So what I want you to do is count 18. So the first one, chain 3, counts as 1 and then this is 2. And I want you to keep everything nice and tight. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 and we're running out of space so there's 12 there. So just kind of yank on it. So I had 12 and I'm doing 13, 14 and I just keep moving it. 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. So with that chaining of 3 plus the 17 double crochets that gives you 18. So let's just double count. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Once you're satisfied, just slip stitch to the top of the first, chain 3 and come over and through. So let's now begin round number 2. So round number 2 we're going to start our growth. So we're gonna chain up 3 this time and this is the only one where it will happen, but you will put another one into the same one that you did the join. So another double crochet there. And then the next one is 1 double crochet by itself. Okay, and now the next one has 2 double crochets into it. Do you follow that pattern? Okay, so remember, so it's 1 by itself and then 2. 1 and 2. Please do that all the way around for round number 2. When you get all the way around and you're still keeping in count, the last stitch, and if you looked at my diagram, will be 1 double crochet by itself. Then you slip stitch to the top of the first, chain 3 and pull nice and tight and then you're done. So now let's move up to round number 3. So this time you're going to chain up 3, but we're not gonna put a double crochet right into the same one. We're going to go over 1 and then you're gonna put 2 into the next one. So 1 and 2. So the remaining of round number 3 is that there's gonna be 2 double crochets by itself. So 1 and 2 and then the next one has 2 into the same one. So that's the repeat pattern for round number 3. Okay, so to review one more time. So there's gonna be 2 by themselves. So 1 and 2 and 2 into the next one. Please do that all the way around for round number 3. So as I get back around the last stitch, I got 2 into the same, the ones by itself. Here's a secret. No matter what round you're on, there will always be 2 into the second last stitch because that's the growth, and the last one will always be 1 by itself. That just happens to be in this pattern. Just slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3. So moving up to round number 4, so hopefully you're understanding how this growth is working. So you're gonna chain up 3 and then you're going to look towards the second of the 2 that are into the same one. That's the one that will always have 2 into it as you're growing these out. So if you turn, see the next 2? It's the second one that will always have 2 double crochets. If you're looking for that, it's just a lot easier than it is for you to sit there and count. So visually it's awesome. So the next one, see, has to be by itself because it's the first one of where the 2 are in there. Looking at the diagram, that's also true. So this is the second one of the 2. So this one will be 2 into the same. So noticing I'm not telling you how many stitches, I'm telling you to look. Okay, so you're going to look here. So how many stitches are by themselves before you're putting in the 2? 1, 2, 3, and then this one has 2. You can count it. It's up to you. It's your business. It's your creativity. But if you know how to look for stuff like this, you can sit there and watch TV and kind of listen without having to be so concentrated that you will probably not mess up. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go continually around as you do this, and I want you to get 13 rounds. So you can see 1, 2, 3, this is partial of a fourth, and you're gonna go all the way to 13, growing it out. And every time you hit these 2, it's always the second one that will have 2 double crochets into it. When I come back, I'm gonna have that done for you, and what I'm gonna do is take you to round number 14, which is the final round of completing your pillow. So please do that now and put me on hold. Now eventually you'll get to this particular spot and you'll have 13 of these rounds done, and you'll be able to count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now technically you would not have fastened off. I did because I was working on tutorial work, but you will just continue up and you will just chain your 3. So 1, 2, 3, and the final round, number 14, is each going to get 1 double crochet each. There's no growth, and this will then stabilize it and finalize it for the final round. So place in 1 double crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. Ignore the growth, and I will see you at the end of this round. We're gonna then you're gonna make 2 of these, and then we're going to insert our pillow. So I've come all the way back around, and I'm just going to join it then into the first one. Now what I want you to do is, if this is your second one, just stay attached. If not, just fasten off and then start your second one. So for myself, I actually have a second one ready to go, and I want to make sure that the sides are facing each other properly. So right now this is the good side of the project. I'm looking at the bad side of the project, so I'm looking at the wrong side. So right side, wrong side. The next one I want to place on here is that I want the right side facing up, and then the wrong side on the inside. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put these together, and I'm gonna do it in a way so that the right sides are exposed on either side of the project. So right where I have the slip knot or the slip stitching going on, I want to insert into the first one. So I'm going to chain 1 first, sorry. Chain 1, insert into the first one, and then go into the other one here into the first one of this side. And I want to just single crochet these together, so there's no sewing involved in these. So just go to the next one on the first one and the next one on the second. You should not have any extra stitches if your stitch counts are right and you've done it exactly as each other. So what you want to do is that you want to go halfway of just single crocheting these together, and then we're going to insert our pillow frame. So let me get halfway and I'll see you there in just a moment. So I'm now around the halfway spot. So what I'm gonna take is the pillow and I'm going to insert it inside here. Now I wrapped those so that it was taking more of a shape. So if I'm thinking that I've wrapped it too tight, I can just release those off, but I'm not gonna do that until I get near to the end to see how far the shaping is going to be there. So what I'm gonna do now is continue to just sew these, sorry, just single crochet these shut, and I will be back in just a moment. So as I get closer, I can see that I'm a little bit loose. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut this, because the way that I wrapped it, it will release all of the strings, and I just gotta give it a good fluff, and all the pressure for that will relax itself. So that's what I'm gonna do for that particular spot. So I will continue then to single crochet this shut. So as you come back around, you're just gonna eventually slip stitch to the first one. Now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about these strings that I released, because this pillow is no longer appearing round. It's appearing more of a square shape with rounded edges. I'm not worried about that. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you live in a community that doesn't have round pillow frames forms, that's what you just gotta do. Now to get rid of this final strand, you were just going to insert your needle onto the yarn strand, and then just staying on the outside edge, just drag it through underneath the stitches. Try not to impede that outside edge. So go once, twice, and 3 times. So now we're ready to apply our faces, but we gotta make them first. And I wanna show you what this looks like, and then we're gonna continue as promised as the video tutorial. And you're gonna wanna fluff your pillow and make it look as good as you can get it now. And now we're gonna apply the faces. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's more of a square kind of idea with rounded edges. I'm not too worried about it. People get that it's an emoji. So what I'm gonna do is that we're going to move on in the tutorial depending on where you are. You're gonna apply your shapes to it, and we're gonna be doing all the shapes then, and it's gonna match the one that we're gonna be doing for today's tutorial. So let's begin to do the next part of this tutorial. So the next part of the tutorial, we're going to move on to the hard eyes, and you're going to just change your colors of yarn. I'm gonna be using black on camera today. I know it's not ideal for you, but we'll do our best. And basically I've already done one heart. I'm gonna do the second with you on camera. I've done the mouth just so I understand the pattern, but we're gonna be doing an additional mouth here, so I'll have one left over, and then you can sew it then. At the end of your motifs, you're going to want to leave extra long strands, and then throw this through a tapestry needle and just sew it directly to the pillow. Just use the pillow's pictures that you see within the pattern to be able to kind of eye it up. And let me just grab my pillow frame while I'm here. And essentially you're just gonna take your pillow, and let's just back up the camera and see the mess of my studio, and you're just going to apply it to the top, and you see everything kind of works out just like that. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to make our heart, and let's begin the hearts next. So let's begin to do your heart. You're gonna use the same size crochet hook, same yarn that you chose. So we're just gonna use the red for obvious reasons, and you're going to leave an extra long yarn strand so you can sew this in afterward to the pillow. So we're gonna start off on the base and work our way out, and then we're gonna do the first hump, and then we're gonna come back and do the second hump. That's what it suggests. And then we're gonna do once round perimeter of single crochets, and we're gonna be concentrating on this next. So let's do the heart eyes, and let's begin row number 1. So let's begin row number 1. Just create a slip knot, and I have the instructions just off camera. You can't see them, but I'm just gonna follow through. So you're gonna chain 2. You ready? Let's go. So first row, 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So the first chain that you have, so it's the second one away, is 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. That's it. Turn, and let's do row number 2. And I'm just gonna get my pencil really close so I can check that off. Chain 1, and you're gonna do 2 single crochets in each one of the 2 stitches that you have. So let's just count those out. So you have 1 and 2, and then move to the other one. 1 and 2, just like that. So let's turn and do row number 3. Just gonna check that off, make sure I did it. So row number 3, we're going to chain up 1, and we're gonna put 2 single crochets in the first one. 1 and 2. The next 2 in a row will each be 1 single crochet, but you don't really need to count it because it's always gonna be the ending one that has 2 single crochets when it's required. So this heart works on the basis that the first stitch and the last stitch usually get 2 when it needs to grow. That was row number 3. Turn. Let's do row number 4. Same thing. So chain up 1, 2 single crochets in the first one. 1 and 2, and then you do 1 single crochet across until you get to the very end, and the last one will have 2 single crochets in it. So 1 and 2. That was row number 4. I'm just gonna check that off. Number 5. Turn our work. Now this one is gonna let it start to relax and grow properly, so it's gonna chain up 1, and then each one across is just 1 single crochet. So we're gonna do more and more of that as we go. So we've really got our point established, and now we're just gonna take our time getting to the top humps of your heart. So 1 single crochet in each across. You might want to keep an eye on your number of your rows as well, just for the count, just so you know. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I should have 8. Let's turn our work and do row number 6. Row number 6 is also a growth round. So chain up 1, 2 singles in the first, and then 1 single in each all the way to the end, except for the last one. You'll have 2 single crochets in the last stitch. So here's the last one. So 2 into that one, and then turn, check that off. Number 7. Number 7 is the same as the 5th row, so these are gonna be just a regular row, so just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each, going all the way across. So we're gonna do this more and more. If you do the one with the tears of joy emoji, you'll notice this happens the same way in the tears. So 1 single crochet in each for row number 7. So you can see we're pounding this out pretty quickly. Turn and work, check that off. Number 8 is a growth row, so chain up 1, 2 singles in the first, and then 1 single in each going across. Last one gets 2. That was row number 8. Turn your work, check that off. Okay, row number 9, and it's the same as number 5. So row number 9, just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each, going all the way across. My yarn ball fell on the floor, so I needed to take a quick break there for a second and pick it up. So no big deal. These things happen behind the scenes that you probably never know about unless I said something. Okay, right to the end. Last one is just 1 single crochet. Turn. 10th and check that off. So 10th is a growth row. So just chain up 1, 2 singles in the first, and then 1 single in each going across, except for the very end. Okay, last stitch is gonna get 2 into the same one and turn. Number 11 is a regular row, so chain up 1 and it's just 1 single crochet in each going across. Okay, turn your work. Row number 12 is a growth row, so chain up 1, 2 singles in the first, 1 single in each to the end. And the last one will have 2 into the same one. And finally the 13th row before we start doing the humps is just a regular row, so chain up 1 and 1 single crochet all the way to the end. Okay, so there's no growth at the end of that, and then we're gonna start the first hump and then we're going to then make the second. So we'll do that in just a moment. So just go right to the end and then stay, don't fasten off, stay there, turn your work, and let's begin hump number 1. Okay, the humps will go pretty quickly. We're gonna do the first half and then we'll fasten off and then come back and do the second half. So to do this, we're going to chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet in the first one, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 7. So let's count those out together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're at the halfway spot if you're paying attention. So we're gonna turn our work and do row number 2. So we're just gonna grow as normal. So chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each of the 8 stitches that you have across. So that was row number 2. Okay, turn your work. Row number 3 we're gonna start a decrease, so we're gonna start rounding off near the top. So we're gonna chain up 1 and you're gonna put the first 2 together. So just insert into the first one, pull through, insert into the next one, pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops. So those 2 just became 1, and you're going to single crochet yourself all the way across except for the final 2 stitches that you will run into, which is the next 2 here. You're gonna put those together. So in, pull through, go to the next one, pull through, and then pull through, turn. That was in row number 3. Row number 4 is that we are going to continue to do that same idea. So chain up 1 and put the first 2 together. Okay, and then single crochet. There's only 2 left before you hit the final 2 and put the final 2 together. Just like that. Turn your row and then chain up 1 and you're gonna do single crochet 2 together twice. Okay, so the first 2 become together and then the next 2, which is the last 2, come together, and then you're done. See, there's 1/2. So what you want to do is just fasten this off, just weave in your ends, and then we're going to continue to the second hump of the second side of your heart. You're going to put a border around this using the same color. So you just bury these yarn strands in, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. To do our next area, we're going to then start in the next stitch that's available to you, and there's a total of 8 stitches there, so that gives you in your balance that you need in order to do this. So we're just gonna go to the next one and just create a slip knot and join it, noticing that I'm going from the middle outward. It makes a difference in the way that it looks. So chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each. And then we're going to do rows number 2 through 5 just how we did the other one. So turn your work. So 2 to 5 is how we did the first hump. So let's go and look back at the first hump of number 2. Number 2 is just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in each going across. Just like that. Now you're going to turn your work, and then you are going to do row number 3 of the first hump. So chain up 1, put the first 2 together, and then the next ones become just 1 by itself, and then the final 2 become together. So put the final 2 together, turn your work. Now let's do number 4. So chain up 1 and put the first 2 together. The next 2 are by themselves, and then the final 2 are together. Turn our work and do number 5. So it's 2 together twice. So just chain up 1, put the first 2 together, and then put the next 2 together, and then you're done. But you do not fasten off at this point. I want you to continue then, and then you're just gonna evenly space single crochets all the way around. So just chain 1 and in the same space just single crochet and just rotate around your heart. At the end of each one of these rows is basically room for a single crochet if you follow it from that point of view. Go right up over top of any stragglers that you may have, and that will bury that into position as you go. And then when you get down to the point, I want you to put in 3 single crochets there and then work your way back up. So what I'll do is I'll have you do that, and then I'll meet you back up at the middle section here just to make sure that you do it right. So we'll see you back here in just a moment. So I'm just coming near to close to the middle. So what I decided to do is go right down into the middle just to place a single crochet, kind of brings it together, and then just start the other side going up. So I just didn't jump across, I went right down into the beginning base area. So I'm just coming up all the way around now, and you're going to finish off right where you started. Okay, so we've started right here. So just slip stitch, bring it together, and I want you to leave this yarn tail exceptionally long so that you can sew it down to the pillow when you're ready to do that. So just pulling it through and you're just gonna put it aside, and when you're ready you can sew it to the pillow and then use the actual diagram. So you should actually have 2 of these done at this point, and well, to do the second one, and then we're gonna go on to the mouth next that's existing in this pillow. So what are we missing? Well, we're missing the wide open mouth. So we're gonna apply the wide open mouth next, and this will be on here, and it's really quite easy, and we are going to be good to go, and we're gonna just take it step by step. So there's 2 different types of mouths in these pillows. The one mouth that is more of a joyful smile has a white teeth line. These are very similar to each other other than the color. So what we're going to do is move on to this mouth for this particular pillow. So here's the mouth for the Heart Eyes pillow. So what you see is the mouth, but when we crochet it, we're gonna crochet it upside down, start wide, and then make our way more narrow, and then finish off, and then we're gonna do 1 perimeter around in order to get this mouth, and you'll leave an extra long strand so that you can sew this down to the pillow. Let's begin. So I am gonna be using black. Use the same size crochet hook, and I want you to start off, and we're going to chain 27. The mouth is really not hard at all. It's just a matter of just paying attention to the pattern. So you're gonna chain 27. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go all the way to 27. Meet me back here in just a moment. Okay, with my pencil nice and close, I am just ready to go. So we're gonna go second chain from the hook, just count it back and get the back hump of the chain, and I want you to single crochet yourself all the way back across your chain. So just first row single crochet in each of the chains going all the way back. So I'm coming back into the last chain available to me. So the next 3 rounds, number 2, 3, and 4, I'm gonna just get you started, and then you're gonna do it. So you're just gonna chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across. Because we've already done the heart, you just go all the way across, turn your work, chain up 1, 1 single crochet in each across. So you're gonna do rows number 2, 3, and 4. Just check it off on your list, and just in the instructions it says rows 2 to 4 here. So what I just decided to do, I go 2, 3, and 4, and then just check it off as it goes. So please do rows 2, 3, 4. Okay, the end of row number 4. So this is what it looks like. So now 5 and 6, that's gonna be repeating. Then we're gonna do it once, and then we're gonna repeat those 2 more times. So let's begin row number 5. It's a decrease. So we're gonna chain up 1, and like we did in the hearts, the first 2 are gonna become together. I know it's harder to see with the black. That just chain up, pull through all 3 of those loops. Now you're just gonna single crochet yourself all the way back, except for the very final 2 that you were gonna put the 2 together. So this is row number 5, and we're going to do rows number 5 and 6 here on camera, and then I'm gonna get you to repeat that 2 more times. So you're just coming all the way to the other side. So let me just hush up for a moment. Okay, the final 2 stitches will become together. So put those 2 together. So that was row 5. Chain your turn your work. Now row number 6, chain up 1, and it's just 1 single crochet in each. So what I want you to do is do that, and then I want you to repeat rows number 5 and 6 2 more times. So do another row of 5 and 6, and then again 5 and 6. Please do that now, and I will see you at the end of that section. Okay, once you've repeated that, then you got rows number 5 and 6. You repeated that twice more. You're gonna end up looking like this. So right, here we go. So row number 11 is that you just chain up 1, and the first 2 become together, and then you're just gonna single crochet yourself all the way across, and then the final 2 become together, and you're gonna repeat this then an additional 4 more times after you get this done. Okay, and then that's it for the mouth. It's actually pretty simple. So you're just gonna get all the way to the end, put the final 2 together, and then turn your work and repeat that 4 more times. So please do that now. I'll see you at the end of this, and we're almost done. So I'm just finishing up the final repeat, and the mouth is technically done, except for I have a final edge. So just staying attached to it, just work your way then down the sides, and then across the top, and then down the other side. Here's what you need to know though. On the top of the mouth peaks, like right where the mouth is opening at the top, you need to put in 3 single crochets there so that it can turn accurately when it goes to do that. Okay, so just get yourself up there. I'll see you there in a moment. So in this one here, the final, you want to put in 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. That allows it to turn, and then just continue along the top. So on the other side of the corner of the mouth, you just another 3 and then come back down and then across the bottom. Please do that same thing going all the way around. So same idea. When you get all the way back around to where you had started, then that's where you're going to finish off, and then just slip stitch to the first one, and then that's it. You're going to leave an extra long strand because you're gonna want to use that to sew it down to the pillow. So just pull that through the final loop just like that, and then this is good to go. So at this point in the tutorial we've done the heart eyes, so you should have your hearts done, and then this is the mouth, and then you go to the pillow and then you sew it on. So using the photograph as your guide, all you're just going to do is just kind of place it. You may want to pin it down to your pillow so that you get the right placement and put all your motifs on there just like you see, and then what you want to do is just thread the yarn strands that you have and then begin to sew it down. So you're gonna whip it, not whip stitch, but you're just gonna go down in and just stay towards the outside of the particular motif and go. So we have other tutorials available for you for sewing things together. I want to use this pillow for all the different emojis, so I'm not gonna sew this here on camera for you today, but all you just gotta do is just go in and out and then just sew it nicely, and then you'll be good to go, and then you have a really good love emoji just like so. So enjoy your new emoji. We hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye. An absent mind came to roam around, captured you in a foggy cloud, baby.